The small research ship, called Harmony's Light, floated in the empty darkness between two star systems. Nothing moved inside the ship except for the slow blinking of red warning lights. Captain Vexstar stood in the control room, his forearms shaking as he read the damage reports on his screen. "Captain, the main engine is completely dead," said his engineer Mortek, whose usually bright blue skin had turned pale with fear. "The backup engine stopped working an hour ago. We cannot move the ship at all." Vexstar closed his large eyes and tried to stay calm. He was the captain of 12 crew members, all of them scientists and diplomats from the peaceful Zephyrian Coalition. They had been studying ancient ruins on a dead planet when their ship's engines suddenly failed during takeoff. Now they were stuck in space with no way to get home. "What about our life support systems?" Vexstar asked, though he already knew the answer would be bad. "The air recycling system is failing," replied Dr. Nelvera, the ship's medical officer. "We have maybe 48 hours of breathable air left. After that—" She did not need to finish the sentence. Everyone knew what would happen. The control room fell silent, except for the quiet humming of the dying ship. Vexstar looked around at his crew. These were good people who had never hurt anyone in their lives. They spent their time studying old cultures and trying to make peace between different species. They did not deserve to die alone in the cold darkness of space. "Captain," said Keldara, the communications officer. Her voice was very quiet. "I have been checking for any ships nearby that might help us." "And?" Vexstar asked, hoping for good. "News. The closest coalition ship is the medical vessel Gentle Current, but it is 6 days away from our position. We will be dead long before it can reach us." Vexstar felt his heart sink. 6 days was too long. Way too long. "But Captain," Keldara continued, her voice now shaking, "there is one other ship. It is much closer, only 2 hours away." "That is wonderful news," said young Zillineth, the ship's navigator. At only 25 years old, she was the youngest member of the crew. "Why do you look so scared, Keldara?" Keldara looked at Captain Vexstar with fear in her eyes. "The ship belongs to the Terran Federation. It is a human vessel called the Vengeance." The control room became even quieter than before. Everyone knew about humans. Everyone in the galaxy knew the stories. Humans came from a planet called Earth, a world so dangerous that it created the most violent species anyone had ever seen. They called Earth a death world because everything on that planet tried to kill everything else. Humans were predators who ate meat. They were hunters who killed for fun. They came from a world with poisonous plants, deadly animals, and weather that could freeze or burn a person to death. While other species evolved on peaceful garden worlds, humans grew up fighting just to survive each day. "The stories say that humans show no mercy," whispered Mortek. "They see weakness, and they attack. They take prisoners and make them slaves." "I heard that they torture other species for information," added Dr. Nelvera, "and that they eat the flesh of their enemies." Young Zillineth started to cry. "I do not want to be eaten by monsters," she said. Captain Vexstar held up one of his 4 hands to quiet his crew. "These are just stories," he said, though he did not sound sure of his own words. "We do not know if they are true." "But Captain," said Keldara, "every species in the galaxy tells the same stories about humans. The Altarians say that humans destroyed an entire planet just to prove they could do it. The Centauri claim that humans keep alien prisoners in dark cages and perform experiments on them. Even the mighty Draconians are afraid of the human military." Vexstar knew all these stories too. For the past 50 years, since humans first left their death world and began exploring space, every species had learned to fear them. Humans were strong, fast, and smart. They built weapons that could destroy cities. They won every war they fought. They expanded their territory faster than any species in galactic history. "What should we do, Captain?" asked Mortek. "Do we call for help from the humans and risk being captured or killed? Or do we die here with dignity?" Vextar looked around at his crew again. Dr. Nelvera was checking the health readings of the youngest crew members. They were already starting to show signs of breathing problems as the air quality got worse. Zillaneth was having trouble catching her breath, and her skin was turning a sickly green color. "Captain," said Dr. Nelvera quietly, "Zillaneth will be the first to die if we do nothing. The young ones always suffer first when the air goes bad." Vextar watched poor Zillaneth struggling to breathe normally. She was just a child, really. She had joined their mission because she wanted to learn about ancient civilizations. She had never hurt anyone in her whole life. She dreamed of becoming a teacher someday and sharing knowledge with young students. "Sir," said Keldara, "if we are going to contact the human ship, we should do it soon. Every minute we wait makes our situation worse." Vextar closed his eyes and thought hard. As captain, it was his job to keep his crew safe. But what if calling for help from humans made things worse? What if the stories were true? What if humans really were the monsters that everyone said they were? But then he looked at Zillaneth again. Her breathing was getting worse by the minute. Soon the other crew members would start having the same problems. In 48 hours, they would all be dead. "Keldara," he said finally, "prepare a distress message." "Yes, sir." "What should I tell them?" Vextar thought for a moment. He had heard that humans respected strength and hated weakness. Maybe if he was honest about their situation, the humans would see them as easy prey. But if he lied, they might refuse to help at all. "Tell them that we are a peaceful research vessel with engine failure and life support problems. Tell them we have 12 crew members who will die without immediate help. Tell them—" Vextar paused, hating what he was about to say. "Tell them that we are willing to pay for their assistance." "What can we offer them, Captain?" asked Mortek. "We have scientific data from our research, some rare metals in our cargo hold, and our personal belongings. But what would Deathworlders want with such things?" "I do not know," Vextar admitted, "but we have to try." Keldara began typing the message on her communication system. Her hands shook as she worked. "Captain, what if they demand something we cannot give them? What if they want one of us as a prisoner? What if they want our ship? Then we will have to decide if living as slaves is better than dying as free people." Vextar said sadly. The message was ready. All Keldara had to do was press one button, and it would be sent to the human ship called Vengeance. Once that happened, there would be no going back. The humans would know where they were and how helpless they were. "Send it," Vextar ordered. Keldara pressed the button. The message flew through space toward the human vessel. Now all they could do was wait and hope that the monsters from the death world called Earth would show mercy to a dying ship full of peaceful scientists. "What have we done?" whispered young Zillaneth between difficult breaths. Captain Vextar did not have an answer for her. He only hoped they would all live long enough to find out. Commander Jake Murphy was drinking coffee in his private office when the emergency alarm started ringing throughout the ship. He put down his cup and walked quickly to the bridge of the Terran vessel Vengeance. His crew was already at their stations, working fast to figure out what was happening. "Report," Murphy said as he sat down in the captain's chair. "Sir, we just received a distress call," said Lieutenant Kate Sullivan, his second in command. She was a tall woman with short brown hair and smart green eyes. "It's coming from a ship about 2 hours away from our current position." "What kind of ship?" Murphy asked. "According to the signal, it's a Zephyrian research vessel called Harmony's Light. They say they have engine failure and life support problems. 12 crew members on board, all in danger of dying." Murphy nodded. Any other ships in the area that could help them? Kate checked her computer screen. The nearest coalition vessel is 6 days away. We're the only ship close enough to reach them in time. Then we go help them, Murphy said without hesitation. Set course for their position. Maximum speed. Yes, sir, said the pilot, Lieutenant Ben Carter. He started pressing buttons on his control panel. We should reach them in about 90 minutes if we push the engines hard. Murphy looked around at his crew. These were good people who had served with him for 3 years. They had fought in battles together and saved lives together. He trusted them completely. Kate, pull up everything we have on Zephyrians. I want to know what we're dealing with. Kate worked on her computer for a few minutes, then put the information on the main screen. Zephyrians come from a planet called Zephyr Prime. It's a garden world with low gravity and no dangerous animals. The whole species is peaceful. They've never fought a war in their entire history. What do they eat? Asked Dr. Lisa Barnes, the ship's medical officer. She was a small woman with blonde hair who always worried about taking care of injured people. They're herbivores, Doctor. They only eat plants. Their planet has no predators at all. The most dangerous thing on their world is probably a strong windstorm. Murphy studied the information on the screen. Zephyrians looked like tall, thin humans with blue skin and forearms. Their eyes were much larger than human eyes, and they had no hair on their heads. They seemed fragile compared to humans. Chief Rivera, how long will it take to fix their engines if we get there? Murphy asked. Chief Engineer Alex Rivera was a big man with dark hair and strong hands. He knew how to fix almost anything. Depends on what's wrong with them, Commander. Could be a few hours, could be a day or two. I won't know until I see their ship. Dr. Barnes, prepare the medical bay for possible alien casualties. We don't know what their air is like, or if they're hurt. Already on it, sir, Dr. Barnes replied. I'm reading about Zephyrian biology now. They breathe the same air we do, but they need it to be cleaner than what humans can survive with. If their air recycling system is broken, they're probably having trouble breathing. Murphy looked at the distress message again. Something about it bothered him, but he could not figure out what it was. Kate, read me their exact message again. Kate looked at her screen. They said, this is Captain Vextar of the Zephyrian research vessel, Harmony's Light. We have complete engine failure and life support failure. 12 crew members on board. We will die in 48 hours without immediate assistance. We are a peaceful research mission with valuable scientific data and rare materials. We are willing to pay fairly for rescue services. Please respond. Pay fairly for rescue services? Murphy repeated. That's an odd thing to say in a distress call. Maybe. That's how they do things in their culture, suggested Kate. Different species have different customs. But Murphy had been in space for 15 years. He had helped rescue many ships in trouble, both human and alien. Most distress calls were simple cries for help. They did not usually offer payment right away. People in real danger just wanted to be saved. Sir, said Communications Officer Tony Garcia, we're getting close to their position. Should I send them a response? Yes. Tell them we received their distress call, and we're on our way to help. Ask them about their crew's medical condition and what kind of repairs they think they need. Tony sent the message and waited for a reply. When it came back, he looked confused. What did they say? Murphy asked. It's strange, sir. They thanked us for responding, but they sound really scared. They said their youngest crew member is having breathing problems and getting worse. They also said they have scientific research data about ancient civilizations, plus some rare metals called quantum crystals in their cargo hold. They want to know if that would be enough payment for our help. Murphy frowned. Why are they talking? About payment again? We haven't even asked for anything." Dr. Barnes looked up from her medical research. "Commander, I think I know why they're acting strange. Look at this." She put some information on the main screen. It was a report about how different alien species saw humans. According to this intelligence report, most alien species are terrified of us. They think we're violent monsters who only help others if we get something valuable in return. "That's ridiculous," said Chief Rivera. "We help people because it's the right thing to do." "We know that," Dr. Barnes continued, "but they don't. Look at this list of things aliens believe about humans." The list appeared on the screen. Humans come from a death world and are extremely violent. Humans only care about profit and power. Humans eat other intelligent species. Humans keep alien slaves. Humans torture prisoners for information. Humans destroy planets just to show their strength. Murphy stared at the list in shock. "Do they really believe all this about us?" "Apparently, yes," Kate said. "The report says that human military victories and our fast expansion into space have made other species think we're conquest-minded monsters. But we expanded fast because we want to explore and learn," Murphy said. "And we won those battles because other species attacked us first." "We know that, sir, but they see it differently. To them, we look like the scariest predators in the galaxy." Murphy thought about this new information. It explained why the Zephyrians sounded so frightened. In their messages, they were not just scared of dying in space. They were scared of being rescued by humans. "So when they offer to pay us," Murphy said slowly, "they're not being polite. They're trying to buy their lives from monsters." "That's what it looks like, sir," Kate agreed. The bridge was quiet for a moment as everyone thought about this. Murphy had always been proud of humanity's reputation as strong and capable. He never realized that other species saw them as evil. "Commander," Tony said, "we're getting another message from them." "What do they say now?" Tony read the message. "They're asking if 12 Zephyrian lives are worth the quantum crystals and research data they offered. They also want to know if we plan to keep any of them as prisoners after we rescue them." Murphy felt sick to his stomach. These peaceful scientists thought he was going to enslave them or worse. "Send them this message," Murphy said. "Tell them we are coming to help them because they need help. Tell them we don't want their crystals or their data. Tell them all we want to do is make sure they get home safely." Tony sent the message, but when the reply came back, he shook his head. "Sir, they don't believe us. They think we're lying to make them feel safe before we capture them." Murphy stood up from his chair and walked to the front window of the bridge. He could see the distant stars and the emptiness of space. Somewhere out there, 12 scared aliens were waiting for monsters to come save them. "We're going to rescue them," Murphy said firmly. "And then we're going to show them that humans are not the monsters they think we are." Captain Vexstar watched his viewing screen with growing terror as the human ship appeared in space next to them. The vessel called Vengeance was huge, at least 5 times bigger than their small research ship. Its dark metal hull was covered with scars from old battles and weapons pointed out from every side like the teeth of some giant space monster. "By the sacred lights," whispered Nortec, "look at the size of that thing. It could destroy 100 ships like ours." The human ship moved closer until it blocked out most of the stars. Vexstar could see smaller ships and fighters attached to its hull, ready for battle. This was clearly a warship built for fighting and killing, not for peaceful exploration like their own vessel. "Captain," said Keldara with a shaky voice, "they're sending us a communication request. They want to talk." Vexstar's 4 hands were trembling as he straightened his uniform. This might be the last conversation he ever had. "Put them on screen." The face that appeared on their viewing screen was exactly what Vexstar had expected from the stories about humans. Commander Murphy had pale skin marked with old scars, cold blue eyes that seemed to look right through him, and the hard expression of someone who had killed many times. His uniform was dark and military, and behind him Vextar could see other humans working at their battle stations. "This is Commander Jake Murphy of the Terran vessel Vengeance," the human said. His voice was deep and rough. "We received your distress call. What is your current situation?" Vextar tried to keep his voice steady, but he could hear it shaking as he spoke. "Commander Murphy, I am Captain Vextar. Our engines are completely dead, and our life support systems are failing. We have maybe 36 hours of air left." Murphy nodded. "How many crew members do you have? Are any of them injured?" The question sounded innocent, but Vextar knew the human was probably calculating how many slaves he could take, or how much each alien might be worth. "We have 12 crew members. Our youngest navigator is having breathing problems, but the rest of us are still healthy." "Good," Murphy said. "My medical team and engineers are going to come over to your ship to help you. We'll have you fixed up and safe in no time." Vextar felt his heart stop beating for a moment. The humans wanted to board their ship. Once the Deathworlders were inside, there would be no escape. "Commander," Vextar said carefully, "we appreciate your offer of help. As I mentioned in our distress call, we have valuable quantum crystals and research data about ancient civilizations. We hope this will be enough payment for your services." Murphy looked confused. "Captain, we're not here to trade with you. We're here to save your lives. My people will board your ship in 20 minutes to begin repairs and medical treatment." The communication ended, and Vextar turned to face his terrified crew. Young Zillaneth was sitting on the floor, too weak to stand properly, but even she looked frightened. "What do we do, Captain?" asked Dr. Nelvira. "Should we try to hide somewhere on the ship?" "There is nowhere to hide," Vextar replied sadly. "Their sensors can probably see through our walls. We must prepare to meet them and hope they will be merciful." "Maybe we should give them everything we have right away," suggested Mortek. "If we show them we're not trying to fight or resist, maybe they won't hurt us too badly." Vextar looked around at his crew one more time. These were scholars and scientists who had never seen violence in their entire lives. They studied old books and ancient ruins. They wrote research papers and gave lectures at universities. Now they were about to face the most dangerous predators in the galaxy. "Listen to me carefully," Vextar said. "When the humans board our ship, do exactly what they tell you to do. Do not argue with them or make them angry. Be polite and respectful. Offer them our cargo and data immediately. Most importantly, do not make any sudden movements. Predators attack when they think prey is trying to run." The crew nodded, but Vextar could see that several of them were crying quietly. Keldara was recording a final message to send to her family on Zephyr Prime. Mortek was writing in his personal journal, probably trying to leave some record of what happened to them. 20 minutes passed like 20 hours. Then they heard a loud noise as something attached to their ship's airlock. The humans had arrived. "They're at the main airlock," reported Keldara. "The outer door is opening." Vextar walked slowly toward the airlock, his crew following behind him. They could hear heavy footsteps and strange mechanical sounds from the other side of the inner door. Then the door slid open, and the humans stepped inside. The first human through the door was a small female wearing a white uniform with strange devices attached to her belt. This had to be their medical officer. But instead of looking like a healer, she looked like someone who might experiment on prisoners. Her equipment made beeping and clicking sounds that seemed very threatening to Zephyrian ears. Behind her came a much larger human male carrying tools that looked like weapons. His uniform was stained with oil, and his hands were covered in scars from working with dangerous machinery. This was probably their engineer, but to the Zephyrians, He looked like a torturer getting ready to work. "Hello," said the female human. "I'm Dr. Lisa Barnes. I'm here to help your injured crew member." She spoke in a calm voice, but her pale eyes moved quickly around the room, studying each alien like a predator, choosing which prey to attack first. When she saw young Zillanith struggling to breathe on the floor, she moved toward her with quick, efficient steps. "Stay back," Zillanith cried weakly. "Please don't hurt me." Dr. Barnes stopped and looked confused. "I'm not going to hurt you. I'm a doctor. I want to help you breathe better." But when she pulled out a strange device that beeped and flashed with lights, all the Zephyrians stepped backward in fear. The device looked like some kind of torture instrument to them. "Captain Vexstar," Dr. Barnes said, "your crew member needs immediate medical attention. This scanner will tell me what's wrong with her breathing, so I can fix the problem." Vexstar knew he had no choice. "Do what you must, Doctor. We understand that this is part of the price for your help." Dr. Barnes looked even more confused, but she knelt down next to Zillanith and began using her medical equipment. The young Zephyrian closed her eyes and waited for pain that never came. Instead, the human doctor worked quickly and gently, checking Zillanith's vital signs and breathing. Meanwhile, the big human engineer was looking at their ship's control panels. "I'm Alex Rivera," he said. "I need to check your engine room and life support systems. Where are they located?" His voice was loud and rough, and when he held up his tools, they looked like weapons designed to break things apart. Mortek pointed toward the engine room with a shaking hand. "The engines are down that hallway," Mortek said. "Please be careful with our ship. It has been in my family for 3 generations. Rivera looked at him strangely. "I'm here to fix your ship, not break it. Why would I want to damage it?" But as Rivera walked toward the engine room, his heavy boots made loud noises on the floor, and his tools clanged together in a way that sounded violent and destructive to Zephyrian ears. "He's going to sabotage our engines," whispered Kildara. "He wants to make sure we can never escape from them." Dr. Barnes was still working on Zillanith when she heard this. She looked up with a surprised expression. "Why would we sabotage your ship? We're trying to save your lives." But her words sounded hollow to the frightened aliens. Everyone in the galaxy knew that humans were excellent liars, who could trick their prey into feeling safe before attacking. Vexstar watched the 2 humans work and tried to figure out what their plan might be. The doctor seemed to be examining Zillanith very carefully, probably deciding if the young Zephyrian would make a good research subject. The engineer was making loud noises in the engine room, most likely breaking important parts so the aliens would be completely helpless. "Captain," Dr. Barnes said, "your crew member has oxygen poisoning from breathing bad air for too long. I can give her something to help, but you need to fix your life support system quickly." Oxygen poisoning? Vexstar had never heard of such a thing. When air recycling systems fail, they sometimes produce too much oxygen along with dangerous gases. It makes breathing difficult and can cause brain damage if not treated. The doctor gave Zillanith an injection with a device that looked like a small weapon. Zillanith gasped and then began breathing more easily than she had in hours. "There," Dr. Barnes said with satisfaction. "She should feel much better now." But Vexstar was not fooled. He knew the injection was probably some kind of drug to make Zillanith weak and easy to control. The human doctor was just being clever about it. From the engine room came the sound of Rivera's tools working on their machinery. Every bang and crash made the Zephyrians jump with fear. "What is your engineer doing to our ship?" Vexstar asked Dr. Barnes. "He's fixing your life support system and engines," she replied. "It's pretty badly damaged, but Alex is the best engineer in the fleet. If anyone can get you running again, it's him." More loud noises came from the engine room, followed by Rivera shouting something they could not understand. To the Zephyrians, it sounded like the human was getting angry and violent. Vextar closed his eyes and tried to prepare himself for whatever was coming next. The humans were inside their ship now, and there was no way to stop them from doing whatever they wanted. Dr. Lisa Barnes worked quickly to help the sick Zephyrians while trying to understand why they all looked so terrified of her. She had been a doctor for 12 years and had treated many different alien species, but she had never seen patients who seemed more afraid of her medical equipment than of dying. "I need to check each of your crew members," she told Captain Vextar. "The bad air has affected all of you, not just the young one." Vextar translated her words to his crew, and they all moved closer together like frightened animals. Dr. Barnes pulled out her medical scanner, a simple device that could check heartbeat, breathing, and blood chemistry without touching the patient. But when the scanner made its normal beeping sounds, several Zephyrians started crying. "Please," whispered one of them, "we will tell you anything you want to know. You do not need to torture us." Dr. Barnes stopped and stared at the alien. "Torture you? This is a medical scanner. It just takes readings of your body to see if you're healthy. It doesn't hurt at all." But the Zephyrians did not believe her. When she moved the scanner near Dr. Nelvera, the alien female fell to her knees and began begging. "I have children on my home planet," Nelvera cried. "Please do not hurt me. I will do whatever you want." Dr. Barnes felt sick to her stomach. These people thought she was some kind of monster who enjoyed causing pain. She put her scanner away and sat down on the floor to make herself look less threatening. "Listen to me," she said in the softest voice she could manage. "I am a doctor. My job is to help sick people feel better. I have never hurt anyone in my entire life. This scanner is just a tool to help me understand what is wrong with your bodies so I can make you healthy again." The Zephyrians looked at each other with confusion. Dr. Barnes could see that they wanted to believe her, but the stories they had heard about humans were too strong. "If you are really trying to help us," Captain Vextar said carefully, "why? Does your equipment make such frightening sounds?" Dr. Barnes looked at her scanner. The beeping noise was normal to her, but she realized it might sound scary to aliens who had never heard such things before. "The sounds tell me information about your health," she explained. "A fast beep means your heart is beating quickly. A slow beep means it is beating slowly. Different sounds mean different things." She turned on the scanner and held it near her own body. It beeped in a steady rhythm. "See? It's checking my heartbeat right now. It doesn't hurt me at all." Young Zillineth, who was feeling much better after the injection, looked curious. "Can I try it?" Dr. Barnes smiled and moved the scanner near Zillineth's chest. The beeping was slower and steadier than before. "Your heart sounds much better now. The medicine I gave you is working." Meanwhile, in the engine room, Chief Rivera was having his own problems with the frightened aliens. Every time he used his tools to fix something, the Zephyrians who were watching him jumped backward as if he was attacking them. "I need to replace this damaged power coupling," he told Mortek, the Zephyrian engineer. "It's completely burned out." Rivera pulled out his plasma torch to cut away the broken part. The tool made a bright blue flame and loud hissing sounds. To him, it was just a normal repair tool. But to Mortek, it looked like a weapon designed to melt through metal and flesh. "Please do not destroy our engine," Mortek begged. "This ship is all we have." Rivera turned off the torch and looked at the terrified alien. "I'm not destroying anything. I'm fixing it. Your power coupling is broken. If I don't replace it, your engines will never work again." "But your tool looks so dangerous," Mortek said. Rivera held up the plasma torch. "This is how we cut metal in space. It's like a very hot knife. I use it to remove broken parts so I can put in new ones." He showed Mortek how the torch worked, cutting through a small piece of scrap metal. See, it only cuts where I point it. It's perfectly safe when used correctly. Mortek watched with fascination as Rivera expertly cut away the burned power, coupling and installed a new one. The human's movements were quick and sure, showing years of experience with dangerous tools. Your people must be very brave, Mortek said quietly, to work with such powerful devices. Rivera laughed. We're not brave. We're just used to it. On Earth, we have to deal with dangerous things every day. Storms, earthquakes, wild animals, poisonous plants. We learn to use whatever tools we need to survive. Back in the main room, Dr. Barnes was checking the health of each crew member. She found that all of them had been affected by the bad air, but none were in immediate danger now that Zillineth had been treated. Your life support system has been producing toxic gases, she explained to Captain Vextar. Everyone needs to. Take these pills to clean the poison out of their bodies. She handed out small white pills to each Zephyrian. They looked at the pills with fear and suspicion. What will these do to us? Asked Teldara. They will help your bodies get rid of the bad chemicals you have been breathing, Dr. Barnes explained. Without them, you might get sick again, even after we fix your air system. Captain Vextar took his pill first, trying to be brave for his crew. He swallowed it and waited for something terrible to happen. But he only felt a slight tingling sensation, and his breathing became even easier. It does not hurt, he told his crew with surprise. I think it is actually helping. One by one, the other Zephyrians took their pills. As the medicine began working, they started to feel better than they had in days. Commander Murphy's voice came through the communication system. Dr. Barnes, how are the patients? They're all going to be fine, Commander, she replied. The oxygen poisoning wasn't too severe. They should be completely recovered in a few hours. And Chief Rivera? How are the repairs going? Rivera's voice came from the engine room. Almost finished, sir. Their engines will be running in about 30 minutes. The life support system is already working perfectly. As if to prove his point, the Zephyrians could feel fresh, clean air beginning to flow through their ship. The stale, poisonous atmosphere that had been slowly killing them was being replaced with the sweet air of their home world. Your engineer is very skilled, Mortek told Dr. Barnes. I thought he was breaking our ship, but he has made it work better than it has in years. Dr. Barnes smiled. Alex is the best. He's fixed ships that other people said were completely destroyed. But why do you help us? Asked Captain Vextar. We are not your people. We have nothing that you need. The question surprised Dr. Barnes. We help you because you need help. That's what people do for each other. But the stories say that humans only care about profit and power, said Keldara. They say you take prisoners and make slaves. Dr. Barnes felt sad when she heard this. Those stories are not true. Most humans are good people who want the help. Others, yes, we come from a dangerous planet, and yes, we can fight when we need to. But we fight to protect ourselves and others, not to hurt innocent people. Young Zillineth, who is feeling much stronger now, asked, What is your home planet really like? Is it as terrible as the stories say? Dr. Barnes thought for a moment. Earth can be dangerous, but it's also beautiful. We have storms and earthquakes, but we also have flowers and music. We have predators and diseases, but we also have medicine and art. Our world taught us to be strong, but it also taught us to take care of each other. You take care of each other? Vextar asked. Of course. When humans are in trouble, other humans help them. When someone is sick, we make them better. When someone is hungry, we feed them. That's how we survived on a dangerous world. We learned to work together. The Zephyrians looked at each other with new understanding. Maybe the stories about humans were wrong. Maybe these Deathworlders were not monsters after all. Chief Rivera's voice came through the speakers again. "Engine repairs complete. Life support is running at 100%. This ship is ready to fly." Captain Vexstar felt tears of relief in his eyes. His crew was safe, his ship was working, and the humans had asked for nothing in return. But he still could not understand why they had helped without demanding payment. Commander Murphy stood in the main room of the Zephyrian ship and looked at the 12 alien faces staring back at him. Their large eyes were filled with confusion and fear, but also something new, hope, for the first time since the rescue began. They did not look like they expected him to hurt them. "Captain Vexstar," Murphy said, "your ship is completely repaired. Your crew is healthy. You can return to your home world whenever you're ready." Vexstar's 4 hands shook as he reached into a storage compartment and pulled out a metal container. "Commander Murphy, this contains our quantum crystals. They are worth more money than my crew will earn in their entire lifetimes. Please take them as payment for saving us." Murphy looked at the container but did not touch it. "I told you before, Captain. We don't want payment. We helped you because you needed help." "But that makes no sense," Vexstar said, his voice full of confusion. "Everyone in the galaxy knows that humans never do anything without getting something in return. The stories say you are the most greedy species that ever lived." Dr. Barnes, who was still checking on young Zillineth, looked up with a sad expression. "What other stories do your people tell about humans?" Keldara spoke up. "They say you eat the flesh of other intelligent beings. They say you keep slaves and torture them for fun. They say you destroy entire planets just to show your power." Chief Rivera, who had just finished cleaning his tools, stopped what he was doing. "You really believe we eat people? Do you not?" asked Mortek nervously. "Of course not," Rivera said, sounding shocked. "Humans eat plants and animals, just like most species. We would never eat another intelligent being. That would be horrible." "But you are predators," said Dr. Nelvira. "Predators kill and eat other creatures." "Yes, we hunt animals for food," Dr. Barnes explained patiently. "But there's a big difference between hunting a deer for dinner and hurting an intelligent person. We only hunt non-intelligent animals, and we do it to survive, not for fun." Murphy sat down on a chair to make himself look less threatening. "Tell me more about these stories. I need to understand what other species think about us." Captain Vexstar looked nervous, but he began to speak. "The Altarian government says that humans once destroyed an entire planet because the people there refused to trade with you. The Centauri report that humans keep alien prisoners in dark caves and perform medical experiments on them. Even the mighty Draconians warn their children about the evil Deathworlders from Earth. Every species tells the same stories," added Keldara. "They say humans are the most dangerous predators in the galaxy. They say you have no mercy, no kindness, no love for anything except violence and profit." Murphy felt sick as he listened to this list of lies about his people. None of that is true. Humans have never destroyed a planet. We don't keep alien prisoners. We don't perform experiments on people. Then why do all the other species believe these things? Young Zillineth asked. Murphy thought carefully before answering. "I think it's because we're different from most other species in the galaxy. We come from a dangerous world, so we learn to be strong and tough. When we first went into space, other species saw our weapons and our military ships and decided, we must be violent monsters." "But you do have powerful weapons," Mortek pointed out. "Your ship has enough firepower to destroy our entire city." "Yes, we have weapons," Murphy admitted, "but we only use them to defend ourselves. When other species attacked us, we fought back and won. When pirates tried to steal from our trading ships, we stopped them. Every time we used our weapons, it was to protect innocent people. But other species only saw the fighting, Dr. Barnes added. They didn't understand that we were defending ourselves. They just saw humans winning battles and taking territory, so they assumed we were conquerors. Chief Rivera nodded. And because we expanded into space so quickly, they thought we were trying to take over the galaxy. But we were just exploring and looking for new places to live. Captain Vexstar looked thoughtful. So the stories about humans being evil are wrong? Completely wrong, Murphy said firmly. Most humans are good people who want to live in peace with other species. We have doctors who spend their lives healing the sick. We have teachers who educate children. We have artists who create beautiful things. We have farmers who grow food to feed hungry people. We also have soldiers, Doctor. Barnes said, but they exist to protect all the good people, not to hurt them. I still do not understand, said Keldara. If humans are not evil, why did you help us without asking for payment? What do you get out of saving our lives? Murphy looked around at the Zephyrian crew and realized this was the most important moment of the entire rescue. These aliens needed to understand that not every intelligent species was motivated by greed and self-interest. We get the knowledge that 12 good people are alive instead of dead, Murphy said slowly. We get the satisfaction of knowing we did the right thing. We get to sleep peacefully at night because we helped someone who needed help. That's all? Vexstar asked in amazement. That's everything, Murphy replied. On Earth, we have a saying. What goes around comes around. It means that if you help others, someday someone will help you when you need it. If you hurt others, someday someone will hurt you. So you helped us because you hope someone will help you someday? Dr. Nell Vera asked. No, Dr. Barnes said with a smile. We helped you because it was right to help you. Even if no one ever helps us in return, we would still do the same thing again. Young Zillineth, who had been listening carefully to everything, suddenly spoke up. I want to tell my people the truth about humans. I want them to know that the stories are wrong. That could be dangerous for you, Murphy warned. If your government believes the stories about humans, they might not want to hear different information. I don't care, Zillineth said bravely. These people saved my life. The least I can do is tell the truth about them. Captain Vexstar stood up and made a formal bow to Commander Murphy. I will also tell my people what really happened here. I will tell them that when we were dying in space, the humans came to save us and asked for nothing in return. Murphy felt a strange mixture of hope and sadness. Hope because maybe, finally, someone would tell the truth about humanity. Sadness because he realized how much damage the false stories had already done. Commander, Vexstar continued, I have one more question. Why haven't humans tried to correct these stories before? Why haven't you told other species the truth about yourselves? Murphy was quiet for a long moment. Because the lies made things easier for us in some ways. When other species are afraid of you, they don't start wars with you. They don't try to steal from you. They leave you alone. It was simpler to let them believe we were monsters than to try to convince them we were friends. But that's not right, said Mortek. Fear should not be the basis for peace. You're absolutely correct, Murphy agreed. And that's why things need to change. Dr. Barnes finished packing up her medical equipment. We should escort you back to Zephyrian space to make sure you get home safely. We would be honored to have your protection, Captain Vexstar said. And Commander Murphy, when we reach our homeworld, would you and your crew consider meeting with our government leaders? I think it's time for our species to begin talking to each other honestly. Murphy smiled for the first time since the rescue began. I think that's an excellent idea, Captain. It's time for the galaxy to learn the truth about humans. As the two ships prepared to travel together toward Zephyr Prime, Murphy sat in his captain's chair and thought about what had happened. One small rescue mission had opened his eyes to a much bigger problem. Humanity's reputation in the galaxy was built on fear and lies, and that fear was preventing any real friendship between species. But maybe, just maybe, 12 grateful Zephyrian scientists could be the beginning of something better. Maybe the truth about humanity could finally spread through the galaxy, replacing fear with understanding. Murphy opened a communication channel to Earth Command. "This is Commander Murphy of the Vengeance. I need to speak with Admiral Chun immediately. We have a serious problem with our diplomatic relations, and we need to fix it before it gets worse." As his message traveled through space toward Earth, Murphy looked out at the stars and wondered how many other species out there were afraid of humans. How many potential friends had they lost because of lies and misunderstandings? It was time to find out, and it was time to change everything.